Hey everybody, just wanted to walk you through viscous fan clutch. What is it? Kind of an idea of how does it work, what some symptoms are if it's not working. I just kind of went through this on my 1987 300D. Pretty much on the front of any engine, you're going to have a fan that's spinning around. So for me, this engine, this is the OM603 diesel engine. It's got metal fan blades. Some of them have like a more like a nylon plastic, hard plastic. And then you can see the part that's a little bit ribbed under there. So that's your viscous fan clutch. And so you can see it's belt driven. In this particular case, it's off of the water pump. When you take it off, the three bolt holes here, those go to the fan itself. So this is in the center of the fan. This particular side here is facing the front of the car. And so pretty much there's this part right here, it's like a reservoir for fluid. And this thermal coupling, when it gets to be a certain temperature, it'll engage and then open a valve that spins as this is spinning, all the fluid's going to go to the outside parts here. And when that gets to the outside parts, then it's going to actually turn the fan. So you can see here, usually this part just would spin by itself. And then it wouldn't turn anything. The fan wouldn't move. But once this temperature engages it and spins the fluid out there, then it's going to spin the whole thing. So that's why it's a fan clutch. And so if it's not working, then it might not be spinning reliably. You could have some other problems. So for me, I'm in Arizona and it's pretty hot in the summer times. So it's, basically gets over 100 every day. Maybe it can get up to 115, no problem. So, this is like in the mid 40s if you're a Celsius person. Pretty hot. And so what I noticed is if I'm idling a long time, or even just a short amount of time, the engine temperature would kind of raise up a little bit. And then also the air conditioning just wouldn't be working very good either. Once you start moving, the car is getting airflow through the front, and then it's okay at that point, and then things go back to regular. On the front of the car, you got a couple components that are important. So you have the electric fan, and so this one, in my case, was turning no problem, no issues. And then right behind it, you have the condenser coils. So if these don't get cool enough, it's going to have a hard time. Those all snake through, and then they go to the compressor, and it turns it back from a gas back into a liquid. That's what the compressor is doing. So my AC compressor is right there. And so if it doesn't cool it enough, which happens when the airflow goes through, but also the fan helps move the air through there, then that's why I'm starting to see those temperature problems. And then, of course, this is basically right in front of, and the shroud is attached to the radiator. And so as that starts to fail, I would see my engine temperatures kind of go up a little bit. In my car here, when I turn it on and I'm at an operating temperature, I'm just above 80. And so what was happening was it was getting a little bit closer to that mark there, which I'm guessing is 100. It would never reach it, but it would get kind of close. And so once I start moving, I'd see it drop right back down again. So driving on the highway or something like that. And so those are some of the symptoms I noticed. Something you can do if you have your car running is you can also maybe crack the window, put it down, and while the car's running, you turn it off or have somebody help you turn it off, and then you can watch the fan. And when the car turns off, if the fan is still moving, then you could have a bad clutch. So I have two cars here that I can kind of show this procedure on. And so this is my 87 300 SDL, so that's that same engine, that OM603. And then I've also got an 89 300 SE. This is just kind of a parts car I have in my yard. And that's the M103. And so, yeah, just taking a look at this, I got a couple basic tools. Here's the kind of idea that you're going to have to do when you do the job. Here, on this one, I have quite a bit of space in between the valve cover and then the radiator. And this is actually like ideal scenario. And so, but when you go to actually get it off, there's sometimes you might use a tool like this. So this is for the M104. And yeah, there it is, the 104 part number. And this one you put behind right there. So that's like the M104 is the 6-cylinder inline 6 that Mercedes made. You put it there and then it will actually slide down, hold in place. And then at that point you can get your bar. You get an 8mm socket like that, where it's got an Allen at the end. And so then you can go in the front. You pull the shroud out of the way. That's one way that, you know, it's fairly typical to do. Another way is with a pulley tool. This is how we do it for this car. So you can just slip this part here over the top of the pulley. So and then you can kind of lean it forward to make it bite down on the pulley and the belt itself. So that way, if you go and do something, it's not going to be moving. And that's going to hold it in place so that when you go to turn the bolt in the center of the fan clutch, it's going to come out no problem. The tool I have here for the OM603 is something I got from Baum Tools. So that's the part number there. It's a 603-0040. And this low profile piece here is just it's a low profile Stawilly socket. So it's like the hex number 8. And you can get this from KC Tool. You can also order it by the Mercedes part number here too, the 103, 01, 09. Is there more to it? Yeah, I'll put the information in the parts in the description. So one thing I would suggest is, if it's tighter quarters, get yourself a longer bar. Like here, I just got this, and this way you can reach down without an issue. Because if you have a tighter space, let's say the radiator here is a lot closer, you're going to scrape your hands up. And so that's exactly what happened to me. So I did this job yesterday and just got really cut up. So after doing it, I was like, you know, time to add a tool to the toolbox. So this is a 20-inch Icon 3/8, and when it's time to do it, this little piece goes on here, and then this will fit in a lot of spaces. You only really need a small amount of clearance to get in front of that bolt. Okay, so just to get started on this, at least with Mercedes, you just got these two clips on top of the radiator. Just use a screwdriver, pry those off. At that point, the shroud is pretty floppy. And what you can do is position it right over the fan. And let's say you take the fan out, then you're going to take the shroud out at the same time too. And right now it would be pretty hard to get this out by itself. If you pull it forward and pull it up, it's going to get blocked by the fan. So what you can do is, yeah, just move it back. And here you can barely see, but this is the kind of room you're working with when you're doing it, and this is why you can really scrape your hand up really bad. So now that I have my setup that I showed, you can get this guy right in there. Look at that, that was pretty easy. I got it like first try. And now this is where you need to have something counter holding it. So I'll try to do it on camera. Okay. And then up here I've got the tool for the pulley. I'm gonna go ahead and lean this forward. And I'm gonna try to one-handed do this for the camera. There we go. Yeah, now I can turn this. And now that it's loose, it should be a lot easier. When it gets like this, I really wish there was an easier way to do it, but you basically just gotta feed your hand down there, grab that bolt, and if you can, twist it on both sides or use one finger on each side as you go and do the, so that you get it loose. Then that should come right out. Okay, and here it is out. So here's the bolt that's holding it in. You can see it's kind of long. And it's 8mm, and then this particular one is the replacement part that I got, so you could fit Torx in there too if you wanted to, but the 8mm works great. You're going to have these number 5 hex cap head bolts, or you're just going to have a number 10 bolt. You'll have 3 of them, and basically you just take those off. You can see here, that's where the bolts go through. They may be long enough that they go to the end. You know, this is where you kind of mount it when you put it on the engine, and then it will kind of hang there. While it's hanging there, then you can feed in that bolt and hand thread it back in. But it's pretty tight quarters. So you can see here's the space. If you get a measuring tape out, it's only about 9 centimeters. So definitely not a lot of space, especially once the fan is in place and then the shroud is there too. And now for me, I could take this shroud out, but since I'm going to be putting it back together, you know, there's the 2 feet portions that go down here. I don't want to take those out right now, so I'm just going to leave those in place. And yeah, we can put this back on. All right, so I'm at the part where it's time to tighten this up. And just got to hold your pulley in place like that, and then you don't want to over torque this, so I'm just going to kind of get it pretty tight and call it good. So a little bit more than that. Yeah, good. With that back on, then you just need to put your shroud back together. So in my case, it's really simple. I just basically have these. You just got to line it up, you know, take your time, put these back on. Some of the 104s have a piece right here that you have to pull out, and so you need to position this right, get it back in. My 300D has a little clip here that you have to lift up, and then it rests into a notch. So you know, just take a look at the plastic here and make sure that when you put it back on, it's going to look good. And then you can even give this a couple spins after you got it back together, just to make sure it's not going to hit. Here's an example with the M103. So it's got some of these clips on the top. It has this, which is broken now, but if this was still there, what you would do is take this out, you know, move the hose out of the way. It's got one down here, and then you can get to it. And then this is what I was mentioning. It's a plastic. This is that nylon plastic. And if you don't have a belt or pulley tool, then these are kind of made for the water pump. There's a hole in the water pump pulley as you turn it, and there's a special tool also. It's a 103 part number that you can slide in, and then you basically that hook will hold on, and then it won't let you turn that pulley anymore. And so I've seen that variation of tool also. It just kind of slides back here behind the pulley, and you could use that on the M104 also. For me, I personally prefer using this tool. And so, yeah, there's that part number. I think this same part also has a 120 part number. Just to round things out, this is my 300D, so just measuring here, the space in front of the fan, it's only about 4 centimeters. It's 4 centimeters in front of it, and so that's why I got all cut up, and some of those just kind of got freshly cut after I just kind of did a demo. But when you look at the tool and you have it on this low profile tool, you know, it's like exactly the amount of space. It's like 4 centimeters on the dot. So, you know, it'll barely fit in there. And then as you get it loosened up, you might have, so maybe it's you got about 5 centimeters clearance, maybe 4.5. As you work it out, then you have to pull this off and pull the bolt off by hand because there's not enough room to work this all the way out. So much tighter tolerance here with the W124, and yeah, those things will cut you good, so just be careful about that. Definitely worth the investment here. This thing can reach no problem, and it was 50 bucks, and it's an Icon. I think that's a pretty good deal. So that's the video. Hope this is useful. If you have questions, let me know. I'm going to try to put part numbers for different things in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching.